hello. Man, I hope my sound is okay today. I'm telling you, I've been working hard on my sound. It's been horrible. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm having a pretty good day. I hope you're having a pretty good day. We are going to be coming online here. We're gonna be getting her done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be talking about something that's extremely controversial. Hey, Darla says I sound good. Amen. Thank you very much. I worked hard to do this, and I'm still not happy with the sound, but there it is. Hello, Darla Stewart. Bennett, it's so great to have you here. I'm telling you what, you have one heck of a family. I am just unbelievably blessed to have you in my life and to have your family in my life. So congratulations to Darla Stewart Bennett for winning the gold on the Talk to Me Olympics. And then congratulations to Carolyn Greg's Ledger for coming in with a cool silver. That's awesome. So, hello, ladies. I'm so glad that you are here. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this go one more time, and then we're going to flip it to us. All right, we're going to go 3. Make her mine. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you go. It just matters that you're here. And I would like to talk about Middle Americans. I would like to talk about Middle Americans for just 1 second before we get going with the show, because the show's going to be controversial. I don't know whether Facebook's going to throw me off or YouTube or whatever. I got some things to say about this topic that we're about to talk about. Hey, Mark Calcaterra, how you doing? And we feel the same about you and Sydney. Darla, you are so sweet. I'm telling you right now. That's awesome. So let me talk about Middle Americans really, really quick. So Middle Americans, if you are here in the United States of America, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much money you don't have. I don't care what your religious background is. I don't care what your demographic is. I don't care who your mom was. I don't care who your dad was. I don't care where you come from, whether you live in a condo or whether you live in a trailer or whether you live in a single-story apartment or whether you live in a mansion. I consider all of us Middle Americans. You want to know why? Because we are between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. We are between Canada and Mexico. That makes us Middle Americans. That is the way that I look at it. The sun comes up in the east and the sun sets in the west. We are all in this together. And if we are not taking care of us, then there is something wrong in the world. And that's what I got to say about that. So, all right. So I finally got side tone in my, look at this. I got headphones in. I can actually hear myself. It's the craziest thing. Logan Calcaterra, I'm so glad that you are here too. Welcome to the big show. And by the way, Mark, you win the bronze medal. So that's right. So Darla won the gold medal, and Carolyn Greg's Ledger won the silver medal, and Mark Calcaterra won the bronze medal in the Comment Olympics, which we have right here in Mickey in the Middle every single night. So that's what I feel about the demographics of Middle Americans, is everybody is welcome here. So before we go much further, I do want to show you this because I have been blessed beyond all reason. I went out there. A friend of mine called me up and said, hey, what are you doing today? Let's go get some coffee. And I went out there and I had some coffee. And then he said, hey, why don't we go for a ride? And I was like, hey, I'll go for a ride. Do you need me to beat somebody up for you? That is true. I did say that. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I got to get rid of this sound. So I did say that. And the funny thing about that was I can't beat up anybody anymore, right? But I'll tell you what, I'll follow this guy. I'll follow this guy to war. I'll figure out some way to win. You want to know why? Because his name is James. He happens to be Darla Stewart Bennett's son, who is a pastor right here at New Life Church. He's my pastor, or 50% of my pastors, right? So I also go to Catholic church in town. So anyway, James said, let's go get some coffee. We went and got some coffee. He said, hey, let's go for a ride. I said, you need me to beat somebody up? And then he drove me to the police station in Cabot, Arkansas. And I was like, oh, you dirty dog. They sent you out to be Dog the Bounty Hunter. They sent you out to be Dog the Bounty Hunter to come and get me and bring me in peaceably to the cop shop. And I was like, man, you're a dirty dog, James Bennett. You're a dirty dog. But then his family was there. And I'm going to show you that. And here's what the thing is. Their daughter, London, made this mural, which is absolutely beautiful, on the art walk downtown Cabot, Arkansas. And it's in loving memory of my wife, Tanya Spillane, and one of Tanya's things was God sighting. She loved the sunrises. This depicts the pond in my backyard with the tree that Tanya loved, with a sunrise coming over, with a dock, with a boat out there, with a rock. That this perfectly describes our neighborhood. It's awesome. This right here is London. London Bennett, she did this artwork right here. It's absolutely beautiful. She put this on here. She made this. She asked for permission to do this from the folks that maintain the art walk down there, and I thought it was great. This right here is the Bennett family. They were all in it. That right there is Reeves. That's Corbin. That's Grayson. There's Cody back there hiding in the shadows. This is London. This is James, and this is me. It's right down there. You can see the other pieces of art. And right there behind us is where we had that loving memory of Tanya Spillane in the backyard. So I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it, Bennett family. You guys absolutely mean the world to me. They used to be my neighbors, and then they had to move to go into a bigger place that had things like swimming pools and movie stars. And so anyway, they got a great place. But I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate the Bennetts doing that, and especially London for taking the time, effort, and energy to remember my wife, Tanya Spillane, who was one of the best people on the planet while she was here. And now she's one of the best people up in heaven. So, all right. So let's get to the main part of the show. Oh, Susie. Hey, how you doing, Susie? Glad to have you here. All right, so let's talk about the show tonight. There is a controversial subject. This has come up in the last 3 weeks. This has been overwhelmingly the topic, other than the war in Ukraine, which is a tragedy unto itself. You have to understand that the way that wars work are one side tries to kill the other side. And if you are being the aggressor, God bless your soul, because you're going to need it when the good people of a country stand up and take you to task. There's war crimes going on over there in Ukraine, and that's an absolute tragedy. I hope all of those people that do that are held to account. But with that being said, the second most important thing that's been going on in the United States of America is 3 things culminated in tonight's topic. And when I say 3 things culminated in tonight's topic, is what is a woman and why is this bad news for all of us? I'm going to tell you right now, what is a woman is extremely important to all of us. Gay, straight, trans, tall, short, it doesn't matter what your demographic is. It doesn't matter any of that. You want to know why? Here's what the reason is. Women's lives matter. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know whether I'm allowed to say that or not. But women's lives matter. Now, this started off with Judge Jackson, who is nominated by Joe Biden to get on the Supreme Court. And that's going to happen. She's going to be the next member of the Supreme Court. But she did not have the capability when Senator Marsha Blackburn, some senator from Tennessee said, can you define what a woman is? And the judge says, no, I can't. I'm not a biologist. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. Gender is fluid. Okay. All right, I get it. You don't want to answer that. You don't want to piss off anybody on the left. You don't want to commit. That's your business, and I'm cool with that, right? So here's what the thing is. Since then, a couple of other things have happened that I am now saying that enough is enough. This affects you. This affects me. This affects everybody, right? Trans rights are a thing. They have the right to do whatever they would like to do, except, right, interfere with somebody else's rights as established by law. Here's where things have gone sideways. Disney came out and they said that they are getting rid of the terms ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, men, women. Okay, they have the perfect right to do that as a private business to go ahead and do that. But here's what the consequences of that are. If you want to say that there are no such thing as men's and women, then are you going to only have one bathroom and that's going to be one bathroom for everybody? From 90-year-old ladies, 90-year-old persons of different biological orders, all the way down to babies of different biological orders. Is that what Disney is saying? Disney's saying, hey, look here, man, 50% of our content is going to be gay, trans, non-standard sexual orientation. They said that. They said, hey, look, 50% of our content, because we got to make up for it. But here's what the problem is. The number of folks that are gay in the United States of America is extremely low. The people that are trans in America is significantly less than 1% of our population. Now, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, which I'm a big fan of, everybody is created equal with certain unalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Since then, we have been trying to live up to those ideals the best way that we can. That is why Frederick Douglass saying what I said Frederick Douglass said last night is Frederick Douglass said that his job was to make America live up to her own words and her own ideals. Therefore, that's why women get the right to vote. That's why people that are minorities get the right to vote. That's why people can open up businesses. That's why they can't be discriminated against. It's why you can't have separate bathrooms. It's why you can't have separate drinking fountains. That's why you can't have separate everything. The trans community has said that they want to be considered the same as minorities. But here's what the problem is. Through law, we have said that there is a definite difference between the genders when it comes to sporting events and laws that are requiring separation by biological birth. There's laws out there that say that. Now, here's what the problem is. We also know that there are other problems inside of the context of biological sexes competing with each other and being in the same spaces together and competing together. Let me give you the latest example. Emily Bridges. Anybody know who Emily Bridges is? Emily Bridges is a bicyclist. Yes, she's a bicyclist. She rides bicycles. Here's what the thing is. Apparently, she's a pretty good bicyclist. But the problem is, a couple of years ago, she was a dude. And now she's like, well, I followed all the rules and I have adjusted my testosterone down to a level which is acceptable to British cycling organizations. Therefore, I would like to go and race against my own kind, women. So Emily used to be, what was Emily's further? What was Emily's name used to be? Shoot, Emily Bob or something like that. So anyway, I can't remember what her name used to be. So anyway, I'm not going to look that up. Disney World's gone wacky. Yes, I will get to your comment to see that DeSantis is removing their sovereignty. They've been country state unto themselves since 1967. Ooh, I did not know that. I do want to address that. I didn't know that they've been a sovereign state since 1967. All right. So, but here's the thing with Emily. Emily won the points race in the men's division for all universities in England in February. That was his last male race. So he won major races in 2018. He has transitioned, still has not changed his sexual organs, right? So his genitalia is still the same. Hasn't done any of that. Just changed his hormone levels. And this goes back to the thing is that you can change my hormones, but it doesn't change the bones. It doesn't change the ligaments. It doesn't change the muscle structure. It doesn't do this. So he's been a man. He's been racing as a man, changed his hormones to meet the minimum requirements of being a female, won his last race in February as a male for the points in the university system. And on Saturday, he was supposed to race as a chick, as a woman, as a female, as a, fairer sex. Do you think that would have been a fair race? I'm a girl now. So there's a problem with that. And I told you that this was going to happen. I told you this a while back. I told you that trans people are going to eventually have all of the records in every female sport that there is. Because if it's an individual sport, like Leah Thomas, who did the swimming thing in the 500, eventually there's going to be a trans athlete that competes in women's sport that's going to beat all of them in the one sport, whether it is going to be weightlifting in all of the different classes, whether it's going to be shot put in all of the different classes, whether it's going to be a 100-yard dash, a 1-mile run, a 25-mile run, anything that is an individual or team sport. They're eventually going to all be led. All the records are going to be sent by trans personnel. I don't know when that is going to happen, but it's going to happen over time. Because right now, Lee Thomas, wait a minute. Emily, wait a minute. Who is the swimmer? I can't remember, right? So Emily Bridges is going to go beat all the women in cycling if this trans person is allowed to compete. Now, granted, they did not let Emily race this weekend. They said, hey, you are registered to compete as a man, so therefore you are not meeting the requirements because of a piece of paper. Emily's wasn't allowed to compete this past week. Well, they could have changed the paperwork. What happened, University of England and university people that were over there? Were you afraid to change some paperwork? But the women decided that they were going to stand up and they were going to boycott. So there was a lot of talk about women, including Olympians, standing up and boycotting Emily being in the race. Because here's what the simple fact of the matter is. trans people that are transitioning from male to female that have not undergone hormone therapy and changing the entire system and including changing genitalia are at a specific advantage over biological women. I don't care what anybody says. That's the truth. That's the truth. They have different bone structure. They have different ligaments attachment. They have different lung capacity. They have different everything. And you go, but their hormones. Ah, to hell with their hormones. Their hormones are only one part of the equation. Here's the second part. Eventually, trans athletes competing in the women's divisions will eventually have all of the records. And once this becomes situated inside of our culture, coaches will first go after and recruit trans athletes first. The 7'4" trans athlete basketball player. They're 6'8" transitioning female volleyball player. It's gonna happen. Field hockey, soccer. It's gonna happen. But here's the second thing that bothers me the most about this. They keep saying that gender is fluid. Okay, I will grant you. All right. Biological sex is not fluid. They say it's a spectrum. It's not. It's X or XY. There's a clear definition. The people that are in the middle that are XXY or YYX or whatever the heck, it's such a tiny minority that does not affect what we're talking about here. Those are unique circumstances, and then that does not apply. Just because that is a unique situation that applies to people that are in the middle, it does not apply to anybody that is not in that category. If you are born with proper chromosomes, you're either XX or XY. And then that's what we're talking about. And those are going to be with you for the rest of your life. But then when Disney says that they're going to get rid of men, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, then you have to ask yourself, if gender is fluid, why do we have gendered categories? Why are there categories of men and women? Let's take this to the logical conclusion. Because the simple fact of the matter is Disney said it, people believe it, it needs to be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women are gone. Let's get rid of them. Let's throw them out the window. Let's do exactly what Disney says to do about gender. Let's stop talking about it. We need to start calling each other what we are, and this is the honest truth. I am a biological male. If you are out there and you are a biological female, then that means that you are a biological female. So that's what we need to go. When we go on Tinder, we need to rename Tinder from ladies and dudes and dudettes to all this. We need to get rid of that. You need to go, I am a biological male. I'm a biological male. I'm a biological female. I'm a biological male. I'm a biological female. Biological male, biological female. The fact of the matter is, who I want to have sex is the only thing that we're talking about. So that's why don't we just talk about that? The thing is that I am a nothing now. I'm a single human being with biological bits and berries. Yeah, I just looked down. Here's why this is important. Here's why this is important. People might not want to get with me if I have twigs and berries. Yeah, anybody ever think about that? So if I don't have a gender, how are people going to know whether they want to go out with me? How are they going to know if they want to do me? How do I know whether they would like it if they took me out to dinner and I put out? What do you think about this? If I was putting out and I let it known on Tinder, there's a swiping right, swiping left. Hey, look here, man. I'm a human and I put out. Do you think that anybody out there would like to know what I'm putting out and what I would like to put it in? That's crazy. It's the craziest concept ever, right? It's absolutely insanity. But here's why it's even more important. And this is the thing. If gender doesn't matter, what I am is what I am. And there is nothing to transition to. See, because if you take away my definition, this is what bothers me. This is what made me think about this. I started watching videos from college students when people started making videotapes after Judge Jackson said that she could not define what a woman was. People went on to college campuses and asked college kids, they said, hey, what's a woman? And they were like, well, who knows what a woman is? You can't really define what a woman is. And that's up to each individual to decide what a woman is. And this was repeated over and over and over and over. And when you talk to every single college kid that is coming out of high school, that is going into college, and college kids that are getting out of college and going into the workforce, that is what they believe. They really believe that there's biological sex and then there are genders, and the gender spectrum is fluid. And what I'm saying is, if the gender spectrum is so fluid that you cannot define what a woman is and you cannot define what a man is, what are you transitioning from and what are you transitioning to? Because if you can't identify man and you can't identify woman, then there is no such thing as a man. There is no such thing as a woman. What are you transitioning from and what are you transitioning to? There you have it. That's the problem with the argument. The other problem with the argument is if transsexual people are less than 1% of the population and people that are gay, man, I want to say the gay population is somewhere like 7%. I got it right here. I got it right here. I just have to find it. Hold on just a second. Where is it? Hold on, give me just a second. I got to be able to find this. All right. The gay population, transgender less than 1%, are gay or lesbian, 3%. I'm sorry, I overestimated. Gay or lesbian, 3%. Bisexual, 4%. Military veterans, 4%. Left-handed, black, Hispanic, own a gun. So did you know that? You know that being gay or being lesbian is only 3% of the population? That being transsexual is less than 1% of the population? Did you know that? But here's why this bothers me. Did you know that everybody that is trans is taking away the identity of gay and lesbian people? My friends that are out there? The trans community really has everybody convinced that if you're gay, you are fluidly transition. You are fluid, and that because here's the deal is that's not true. I have way too many people that are in my life that happen to be gay, and they go, "Hey, look here, sorry, dude, I like this gender, and that's the only gender that I like. I don't like a combination of that." And guess what? I'm okay with my own person, and I'm okay with the body that I have. I'm okay with the person that I have. But here's the thing is, I like my partner, or I like this specific type of a person. They're not interested in transitioning. That means that if you're a woman and you are lesbian, they want to take away your right to be a woman. and lesbian. If you are gay and have a male friend in your life, if you are a dude and you are gay and you have a gay friend or a gay husband or somebody that you love that is of the same sexual persuasion as you, they want to take away your identity and they want to say that you are not a man. News for you. Most of the gay friends I have are so much more manly than I ever thought about being. It is unbelievable. Love those dudes. You can't tell me that they don't enjoy being men. They do. They're sexually attracted to other people. I'm sexually attracted to women. But this is what the problem is with these arguments when you say that there is no men or women, there are no boys and girls. That's pure bullshit. Yes, there are. Well, gender can be any, and we have convinced all of our young people that anybody can be a woman. Having a baby has nothing to do with it. Having a vagina, nothing to do with it. Having ovaries, having eggs, nothing to do with it. Having a period, nothing to do with it. You can't define what a woman is? Here's what the deal is. Playboy did an incredible job defining what a woman was for a lot of years. I swear I saw somewhere on, I think, Social Security, you don't have to put down a sex anymore. Oh, and here's the thing is, Carolyn, Greg's Ledger, I'm cool. I'm cool with the government not knowing whether you are a male or a female. I don't think it's the government's business. I don't think it's the government's business to know whether you are a male or whether you are a female, who you live with, and who you love. I don't think that the government has any business knowing that, especially when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to medical rights, when it comes to veteran status, when it comes to military service, when it comes to anything that's going with the government. I think that they need to stay out of our lives. However, inside a society is what I'm talking about, and specifically inside of athletics, which I guess could be government, right? And inside of bathrooms, which is then public policy. Because here's the deal is, I got a daughter. I don't want anybody I don't want anybody with a penis going. When she was in elementary school, when she was in middle school, when she was in junior high, when she was in high school, I don't want anybody going in there with a pecker. I don't want anybody with a pecker being in a locker room with my daughter with unfettered access where she could be in there by herself and somebody can walk in and just start swinging a package around. That's a bunch of crap. Simple fact of the matter is that this is important stuff. And I feel sorry that I have got to come down on this, but the simple fact of the matter is trans people, 95% of people that are trans are transitioning from men to being women, which is great. You want to be effeminate? Be effeminate. That's great. Why do you have to compete? Why do you have to compete? Well, I want to compete because I want to have the full experience as a woman. Most women don't compete, right? Second thing is that if there is no definition of man and there is no definition of woman, there is no definition. What are you transitioning from and to? And when you say that there is no definition, that means that you take everyone in the country and you say the things that make you you, the things that make you effeminate, the things that make you masculine, the things that make you what you are, the things that make you biologically have nothing to do with your gender. We know that that's not true. Every society in the world, ever since we have got the distinction gender, men and women. Not biological sex. It's just the way that it is. It's the role in society. And men do have a role in society. Women have a role in society. Does it have anything to do with the stuff that's between their legs? No. The simple fact of the matter is it does matter. That's what I want to say. And then finally, what Disney World has gone wacky. DeSantis is going to remove their sovereignty. I don't know. I've got to go and research this a little bit more because here's what the funny thing is. I heard that Disney was running their own little world in there and that they have their own security force and that they have their own police department. I don't know whether it's like the villages, whether state troopers have that, but they're probably run like a city. That means that they have a city structure, but just as a corporation. So that means that they have to provide their own security. They have to provide their own plumbing. They have to provide their own infrastructure, their own roads, their own vehicles, their own trash, their all that. So that means that they probably are. But here's what the deal is: if that gets removed and the state cops go in there, that means that the cops get to go anywhere that they want. And here's the deal is, I think that the reason why Disney is doing this, I think that Disney is not being well thought out. And I don't know what my relationship with Disney is going to be in the future, but I hope that they come back because Disney was Tanya's favorite place in the world, and I really like Marvel, and Disney owns Marvel. So I know I'm never going to go to a Disney theme park again, and I will probably never go to another movie that's outside of the Marvel comics again. But I will let everybody know how that goes. So anyway, some questionnaires have the option to prefer, say not to. Yeah, but here's the thing: is your sex on all those forms don't really matter. You know, it might matter in the census. Does it matter in the census? I don't know. Walt Disney is rolling in his grave. Yes, Walt is probably rolling over in his grave. But that's what happened when Walt decided to get corporate and issue stock and become a public company. That's who knows what's going to happen to your company when you decide to go public and make a lot of money that way. So, without further ado, I just want to say thank you very much for showing up tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I love you, America. Sorry that this was a controversial show. Didn't mean to be controversial, but here's what the deal is. Eventually, women will not have any women's records. They're going to go to a trans person. It might not be this year, might not be next year, might take 10 years, 20 years, but eventually, trans athletes that transition from male to female are going to own all of the women's records. Mark my word on it. We can get a pool together to see when that's going to happen. Second thing is, if you undefine genders like Walt Disney's doing and everybody on the left, if you undefine the genders, what are transitioning people transitioning from and transitioning to if there is no women and there's no definition of women and there's no definition of men, and if a man wants to become a woman, then there's no definition of man. What are they? They're transitioning to nothing. Just saying, if there's no definition of men and women. And then finally, the last thing on the list was thank you very much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being here. Remember to like, share, hit the notification bell. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, 9 p.m. Central, right here, wherever I am, 9 p.m. Central, wherever you are. Without further ado, America, embrace your middleness. We need you. So you guys be good. I'll talk to you later. And good night, small one. I love you. See you later. Bye-bye.